that it was talking about was how self-righteousness is ugly, and the Bible doesn't dance around it at all. And in Proverbs 16 through 17 to him. So there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. Haughty eyes, which is what we're going to talk about the most today, and a lying tongue. I could go. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, go on.
I figured people can just kind of pick up and read. Hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that divides wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. I think we call them Karens. But a haughty eyes, when I first read that, I thought they were talking about like a lustful type of situation.
And flirtatious. And
when I read it in a different part of the Bible, I was like, wait, does this actually have to do with lust? That didn't add up.
Yeah.
So I Googled it, and it's actually being like self-righteous where your nose is turned up to people and you look down on them like they're the dirt on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. Which, what a weird way to phrase it for haughty eyes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And I used to point fingers at people who were like that until I became one. Mm-hmm. And it took for somebody to call me out straight to my face saying that I was callous. And I'm like, I kind of just listened and I waited. And then when I got home, I Googled what callous meant. And I could have cried because it was definitely me.
You felt convicted.
I felt convicted for sure. But, yeah, I guess it's a lot easier to become the people who I didn't care for. A lot easier than I thought.
Yeah. I feel like for my self-righteousness, there have been so many times where I've been like, oh my gosh, that person's supposed to be a person of Jesus. Mm-hmm. And they're acting like that. They need to pray about that. When really it's like, I catch myself doing that on a daily basis.
Yep.
All the time. So, I think it's different, like, when you can really just be in check with it. Like, oh, okay, wait, let me take a step back really quick. We're all human.
Yeah, finding yourself in that moment.
Absolutely.
Then you feel really bad.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, Lord.
For me, God checked me.
Mm-hmm.
He checked me in that moment by having that. But it was my boss that said it. Yeah, I felt very convicted, and I repented, and I didn't just say sorry for my bad doing. Mm-hmm. I asked God, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Can you point out like why I feel this way still, or why am I treating people like this? Because I wasn't born this way. I was shaped this way by the adults in my life that I was a child, and I was treated like I was the problem, that I wasn't good. I was told that, like, that I was trouble. I wasn't a good person, that nobody ever wanted to watch me because of how much I don't listen. And in all honesty, most of my stuff was just a cry for help.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And I think the part that people don't want to talk about is how your words actually affect people. Oh. Your words don't just describe people, it shapes them. Mm-hmm. And psychology even backs this up. Mm-hmm. It's part of conditioning.
Yeah.
And at some point, especially kids, at some point they're just going to start living it. They're just like, if you really think that about me, then why should I try better?
Well, and if you tell somebody something long enough, they will take it upon themselves. Yeah. Like, they will just think, okay, that is who I am.
Yeah, to do that. Yeah, for me, when I was a kid and people would say those hurtful things to me, I would, in my head, while they're talking, be like, that's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Mm-hmm. Because I am ADHD, which isn't an excuse. But, yeah, for the most part, I felt very safe with my dad.
Yeah.
So they did see a lot of behaviors that they probably wouldn't have seen at my mom's.
Right.
Because I was scared to death there.
Right.
So, yeah, it was...
I love that you just said that, too, because I think, like, I know I was just struggling with Luke and his attitude, but it's kids are most safe around, they will act themselves around people they feel most safe with.
Yeah.
No matter what the action is, whether it's good or bad. And so I think reminding ourselves that, okay, Luke having an attitude, even though that affects me and my attitude, knowing that he feels comfortable enough to speak himself. Because I wasn't like that as a kid.
Yeah.
I was scared to death walking on eggshells around my dad.
Oh, yeah, the eggshells part.
Yeah. So, yeah. I like that you said that. What you say matters.
Yeah, so in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. So it even speaks about that in the Bible. How your words are not harmless. You are either speaking life into someone or you're slowly killing something in them. I get it. Your pain isn't an excuse to bleed out on somebody, and you shouldn't use it as an excuse of why you are the way you are. And I think I did use that as an excuse. Like, well, they treated me like dirt. They still treat me like dirt. They still treat me like I'm the black sheep.
Yeah.
Like I'm no good. And it's like I'm almost 30. I had a child at 16, but it's like they still treat me like my past self, and I'm not that person.
Yeah, it's like they have you stuck at that age.
Yes, and it's BS.
Yeah. And how many people do we do that to? Like, and not even in that way, but I think,
yeah.
Well, and it's something as simple as, I think when I think of my mom, her initial age in my head is 32. Every time I think
my
of
mom too.
Yes, but it's like she's not 32.
She's getting older.
Yeah, we're 30 and 31, so our parents can't be 32. But it's like we do that. We have a set thing about somebody, and they're stuck in that realm for us. And I wonder why.
Another example, when I didn't know I was on speakerphone, and I felt so convicted, and I even apologized to the person. But for me, growing up with parents who are recovering addicts, I guess to say, associating with them is hard for me because I know what they are capable of when they are on drugs.
Yeah.
And that scares the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
So it was one of Matt's friends that was helping him out. He needed money, and they were putting in a furnace or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm hanging out with so-and-so. And I'm like, isn't he a crackhead? Not realizing that, you know what, I shouldn't even have said it.
Right.
Even if he wasn't going to hear it, I shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, he was recovering.
Yeah.
And he did relapse. And unfortunately, I spoke those words. And
we've all been there.
Yeah.
We have all been there. I'm going to circle back to the self-righteous part, because that is what turns people off who are not Christians, who are not followers of Jesus yet. Because they see that and they're like, okay, you're a hypocrite because I've heard what you've said or I've seen how you've acted, and then now I'm doing something and you want to preach the gospel at me.
Yeah.
So I think, too, just reminding people, hey, nobody's perfect. We're supposed to come to Jesus imperfect, and we're all going to continue to make mistakes. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you and you can't be found, just like us.
And I do feel like Christians or any other denomination should be held at a higher standard. I understand that. But we are human. We are. And we are all hypocrites.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Even if you don't follow Jesus, you're probably still a hypocrite in some way.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Like, either you're going to figure it out, like somebody's going to call you out. And that's another reason why you need to have other followers in Christ to hold you accountable.
Followers of different seasons in their faith.
Yes.
That's important. When Trent and I were going through that separation, we have one woman that I work with at the salon, and she's been a follower of Jesus for probably half of her life. She's in her 70s now. And sweet woman, but she was very judgmental on my divorce. And her and you got it, dude?
Oh, You're sitting on my lap. Okay.
Her and the salon owner, they both said to me basically, "You're a woman of faith. Why are you doing that? You know better." Rather than, "Hey, what can I do to help you in that moment?" Or "What can I do to pray for you?" Or "How are you feeling?" I felt
Can't
like
stand when people do that.
no, I felt so like, because I was already struggling with, I know this probably isn't what Jesus wants. This is how I'm feeling in my head, and now I feel like God is upset with me and he's not going to allow me into heaven. So, Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, you butted in the conversation, man.
So, just being careful. And then there were a couple women I worked with who are not newer in their faith, but they've not been followers for 20 some years. I mean, you know what I mean. Probably not like actively.
And that could deter somebody.
Yes, it
Pretty
can.
quickly.
And they were the ones that were like, "Hey, let's pray about it. Like, what can we do to pray for you in this moment?" Rather than just quickly judging and preaching the Bible. "Hey, this is what the Bible says. You're not to do this right now." That's not helping anybody. It's taking people away. I'm already struggling with this right now. This is how I feel inside my head. And now you're coming at me telling me that God's upset with me. That's not helping my situation. That's not going to make me run home and be like, "Okay, I've got to get back together with my husband because God's mad at me." We don't want people to do that anyway.
No, because then they build up resentment.
Right.
From it.
Yeah.
And I like how Jesus handled a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the woman at the well. I mean, he very much told her, like, "I know you have more than one husband."
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, "Oh, you're the S word or the W word."
Right.
This and that.
Or even that I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, no. Or the Bible says this. Yeah. I really do like the way Jesus handled a lot of his stuff. And we could take notes, but yeah. Can we live in those notes?
No, literally.
Yeah, so myself became cold, calloused, and prideful. Unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately, Jake. And I started to build up walls. My attitude was so nasty. So nasty. Especially at home. And I hated that so much because it's like, why can't, which I guess somebody pointed this out one time. It's, what they say? Pretty much like you're acting.
Yeah, you're putting on a different persona of yourself out in public.
And why can't, like, if you are that person, you should be that person at home.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you walk through the door and you want to decompress.
Right.
It's not fair to your family or your kids.
No, we shouldn't be taking a mask on and off.
Nope. And Ezekiel, I hate this word. Okay, Ezekiel 36:26. I will remove your heart of stone and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I feel like I had to pray for that one hard and constantly. And I had to constantly forgive those who hurt me over and over and over. Again, even, like I said, even if they continue to treat me terribly.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's my burden that I'm carrying and it's not fair to me.
No.
I should not have to continue carrying it.
Right.
And I think that was the hardest part, doing that.
Romans 1:21. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Matthew 13:15.
Oh, I thought it was 16.
Well, this is still for the hearts one. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. Okay, so there's that.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. So the one about turning children from God?
Yeah. And tying something around their neck and throwing themselves into a sea.
Okay, so that one is Matthew 18:6. If anyone causes one of these little ones, those who believe in me, to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea.
When I first read that, now if I would have read that one maybe 3 years ago, I probably would have cheered. Like, yes, those people will, whatever.
Yeah.
But instead, I said, God, please forgive them. Please forgive them for hurting me. I forgive them, and I don't want that to happen, especially because, like I said, whatever they went through, maybe they are callous too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's hard. That was hard for me to do.
Absolutely. I was in the gym the other day after I had watched that video that I was just talking about. I was in the gym on the treadmill, and across the street is a house that I lived in when I was a teenager. And this was right when your brother and I started dating. And that house was one of the last houses my parents lived in together. And so it was futile. It was terrible in there. And every time I go to the gym and I see that house, I think, oh my gosh, of all the negativity.
Yeah.
And I hate it. Well, the other day I was on the treadmill and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at that house and I'm going to speak life over that house. For anybody who has lived there, anybody who continues to live there, and forgive my dad in that season of being in that home, rather than looking at it and continuing to hurt myself.
Because you're the one who has to burden that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not them.
Right. So, and it did help. It helped. I was able to feel a peace inside my soul. But I think that's super important. You know, we talked about in one of our other podcasts, forgiving people 77 times. Not only forgiving the person now, but forgiving them in the season for when they hurt us too.
Yeah, I was like, you have 7-7.
Mm-hmm.
It is a literal, it continues to go around.
Yeah.
If you put them together. Which,
right.
That's just me.
It's true, though. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I hated that verse when I first read it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'll forgive him 77 times. And then after
77, I ain't forgetting him 78. It's hard. It's hard. And it's even harder when you're a follower of Jesus because you feel convicted by it. And you know. And Jesus tells us that. It's going to be hard on earth. Following me and doing what's right, you have to choose to do it every day.
Even when you don't want to.
Even when you don't want to.
So when I was praying about it, asking God, why am I like this? It was... I really don't know how to, I guess, explain it. But it was he gave me a realization that when I was a child, I was very loving. And I would do anything for anybody. If I saw a kid that was sitting alone, I would go play with them, even though they were the weird kid. I was the weird kid. But I was always kind, loving. I would draw my parents' pictures every day at recess instead of actually playing, I guess. And I guess he showed me, like I said, I wasn't born that way. I was shaped that way.
Yeah.
I was told that I was that way. And it's so easy to become callous when you are repeatedly hurt, especially by your own family who are Christians or Catholic or Pentecostal.
People who are supposed to keep you safe and love you.
Yeah, because you speak life over that, or death.
Yeah. It's like what we talked about the other day. When you speak something negative, the enemy will shoot an arrow through it, and that rains down on you. That becomes true. It's no different than when we speak positive over ourselves. God makes that reality. We are speaking life over ourselves.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true.
And that could be said for teachers, too.
Yeah.
Especially because they like to talk. And kids hear it. I remember sitting in the office at one of my son's schools, and one of the paraprofessionals came in, and she was like, oh, I heard so-and-so got stung by a bee. And they're like, no, it was the other so-and-so, which had the same name, different last name. And she's like, oh, I don't care about that one. And then I found out that another paraprofessional was talking bad about my niece. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and my son had to hear it. Mm-hmm. And I had to explain to him, like, yeah, that's just how people are going to be. Yeah. But you are speaking words over those kids.
Absolutely.
I love school. I love being at school. I did not want to be at home. So for me, my teachers were actually freaking kind.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few that were like, but most of the time they would tell me, like, you can do it. And I had a big sister. I had 2 big sisters. Mm-hmm. And they would teach me things, mm-hmm. and I would start to struggle. I would start to shut down. I would start to, like, throw a fit.
Yeah.
But instead of being, I guess, like my family would, where it'd be immediate punishment, I'd get my butt whooped, I'd be sent to my room to cry. It was, no, you're going to sit here, you're going to do it, and mm-hmm. you're going to calm down first.
Yeah.
And I really respected them for that, because they took the time to teach me, mm-hmm. and to be like, no, you're not stupid, because I would call myself that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was called.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, no, you're not stupid. You're beautiful. You're wonderfully made. And mm-hmm. one of them was a Christian. And she was so freaking sweet. And she'd teach me about the Bible, but it didn't help. It didn't help when I went astray. But yeah, it was different, I guess.
Kids thrive off routine.
That too.
Kids want that.
And strictness.
Absolutely.
You can't.
No.
I'm not saying coddle them, but
right.
You can teach them in a stern way.
Absolutely. They want that. They crave that. That's how they know you care. When you let kids mm-hmm. just do whatever they want all the time, I mean, they're going to do it because it's freedom to them, but they're going to be like, okay, well, why is so-and-so's parents making them come in at 7 o'clock tonight to bathe and to get ready for bed when I'm staying out till 10 o'clock at night? My parents must not care.
My oldest said that. He's like, why can't I be like those kids? And I'm like, because.
Right.
And he would want to go stay at people's houses, and I would have to tell him no. Mm-hmm. Because I knew how their parents lived. Mm-hmm. Said, you're not going to get fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
You're not going to have drinks in the house and stuff, that's just that was my reality growing up. And I don't want him to have to wake up, because he's an early bird, mm-hmm. wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning while their parents are still sleeping until 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
You're not going to those people's houses. Mm-hmm. And it sucks, because he really wants to.
I know. He
wants to be that kid that can go hang out with his friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, they can come here.
Yeah. When you've lived a different reality from what our kids know, because we've raised them differently from how we were raised, you're more hyper aware of that. You are.
Or if you get the ick from their parents.
Yeah. Like, Well, my son wanted to go and hang out with one of his friends, but they were walking around town at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, no, because I know that if they're doing that now, I'm nothing against his parents, but if they're doing that now, I know you're going to be doing that, and I don't allow that. How do I know where you're at if you're walking around 11 o'clock at night?
So I actually had a little bit of both worlds. At my mom's, it was very strict. Because I was a female, I wasn't allowed outside, mm-hmm. wasn't allowed to do what my brother was doing, and it was a lot stricter. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally could not play outside. Mm-hmm. We did get fed. At my dad's, we had an extreme amount of freedom, where we would stay out till midnight, running around the trailer court and stuff, and just doing our own thing. Mm-hmm. Even when we would go camping, because we go camping a lot. But we were only really fed like once.
Yeah.
Once a day. And it was all meat. I don't know why men do that. It's like, there's sides for a reason.
That's why your brother's like that.
Yeah.
Gosh. I guess, yeah, we can have hamburger again tonight. That's fine.
Just hamburger? No french fries? Macaroni and cheese?
At least he does do that.
He does do that.
Gosh. Well, and like with my childhood, my parents were strict. Very strict. But we didn't have a lot. And so, we were not allowed to play outside after a certain time. Homework had to be done. I remember I would take a nap on the couch after school sometimes. I would get woken up. Is your homework done yet? No naps. No naps until bedtime. So I do appreciate that side of my parents, but I mean, there were so many times when we would have to go to the food bank to get food, or my grandparents, we'd go over there and eat food. And so, yeah, you just, when you live a harder life, you become hyper aware of things like that. You know, we want our kids to live so different of that.
You just said something that made me remember something, but I forget what you just said.
Your microphone's still on.
Oh shit. Sorry. Oh, what did you just say? You were the homework thing. So when I lived with my dad, I didn't do my homework, which ultimately resulted in me having to be held back, which was...
I didn't know you were held back.
It was my punishment. But I wasn't good at algebra. We were doing pre-algebra in 5th grade. And yeah, I was not good at it. And I struggled a lot, so I didn't get that help at home. As for my kids, once they started struggling, we would help them at home, do tutoring and stuff like that, which when I got held back, I had to be tutored.
Right.
And this one time, I told him, I said, I need to go home. I don't feel good. I do not feel good. And they didn't listen to me. They're like, no, you need to go to tutoring. I threw up all over the table. I'm like, that is your karma.
Yeah. Should have let me go home.
Should have let me go home. I knew I didn't feel good. So, yeah, I did not do my homework. Nobody pushed me to do my homework. So, yeah, why would I care? I didn't care. But that was my punishment. I got held back. And put on an IEP.
Did you feel like it helped you after that? Did you pay attention more?
No.
Do you feel like it backfired a little bit? Like you almost felt like, what's the point?
I guess yes and no. Because like I said, I love being at school. Because I would get fed and stuff.
Right. And you probably like the social aspect too.
Oh yeah. And being held back, I made more friends than in the previous grade. They were just terrible. Terrible. And actually, ironically, when we went to the middle school, yeah, it was technically a middle school, but I think they called it something else. The kids would still follow me around and bully me. Like, just hardcore bullying. So.
Kids are so mean.
But I guess it pushed me to do my homework.
Yeah, I don't want to be held back again.
Yeah, but I also knew I only need C's.
Yeah.
So I don't need no A's and B's, which still graduated.
Your nephew's like that.
You see?
You just said that, and now I know where he gets it from.
Yeah.
C's get degrees, that's what he says. I'm like, you're 9, bro.
Oh, he heard me say that.
Thanks.
Sorry. Oops. Because I usually do say that. C's get degrees.
Yeah.
But not in my field. Not in the field I'm going in.
No, because you're a nurse. She's a nurse.
Well, not yet.
Will be.
But C's don't get degrees is what I'm saying.
Not nursing school.
I need A's and B's. And I can't wait till I graduate, which is hopefully in December, because I'm going to hold up my high school transcript compared to my college transcript. Because I want other people to know. Like, I had a D- in gym. Okay, I did not care in high school. But I am on the dean's list in college because I do care.
Yeah.
I want this degree, and I'm going to continue striving for it.
Yep.
So, honestly, if you got to do the bare minimum, you're not going to get into Purdue. I don't want to be there anyways with those weirdos and Illuminati people.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm kidding.
But what were you being spoke over you when you were in high school? Circle right back to how we started this. You were not being spoken life over when you were in high school.
Mm-mm.
So you didn't care. Why would you?
Well, and I was on survival mode.
I just had Terrence.
Just had my son. My mom was an addict, like in the midst of an addict. And if you live with an addict, well, you saw it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my friends had to freaking see it, and it was so embarrassing because when you live with an addict, they can be happy one minute, and then like Satan the next minute, and you see a demon in them that I cannot unsee it. And I did walk on eggshells, and I didn't get fed because they were
How
doing.
many houses did you live in?
Yeah, that too. they were doing meth. So if they're not hungry, why would they care about feeding their kids?
Right.
And unfortunately, that was my reality of it. So I would go stay with my friends. And they're the reason my kid came out 8 pounds, because they would feed me. They would always feed me. And there was one friend's house that I went to. I actually just ate. My friend brought me Haughty's. And I was walking up on the porch, and her stepmom was like, we don't have enough food for her here, so she can't eat here. And I'm just like, I wasn't planning on eating here. And luckily her dad left that witch. But he would feed me after that. So, Tostino's pizza. But I remember that, like, Jesus, I wasn't coming for a handout. I was just coming to pick up my friend because we were going to do whatever we were going to do. I forget, probably go swimming, but what the hell? What's wrong with you? Which she was an addict too. So I guess back to that, speaking life over me, I was told when I got pregnant, and this was like a realization when I was doing that, is it 12 days for doing the red letters of Jesus?
Yeah.
And when I was doing that, I realized that there was somebody I haven't forgiven. And because when I was in high school, and I'm stubborn, so I mean,
yeah, you are.
when somebody tells me I can't, I'm ready to prove them. Like, I can. It might take me a little bit,
right,
but I'll do it. So I was a freshman and pregnant, and my guidance counselor pulled me out of class, and it was wasting my education right there. She should have just kept me in class. I was told by family members that I could get an abortion, that they would not hate me if I did it. And I, even though I wasn't following Christ then, like, I hated God, but I could not, like, just knowing what abortion is, even at 16, I just absolutely just couldn't.
Yeah.
And giving him up for adoption was kind of an option, but I guess my thought is, what if he went to a home that was like that I would just die. But she pulled me out of class to tell me that her daughter got an abortion and she was able to go to college. That I was better off getting an abortion because Matt would leave me, I wouldn't be able to graduate, and we would live in poverty for our whole lives, which Matt did leave me. But then we got back together because he wanted to be a kid still.
Right.
And I let him. I wasn't forcing him to be a parent. I didn't take him for child support. If you want to be that's fine. I got this. I can do this. And it was a struggle, but I did it. I graduated high school. I kept my son. And me and Matt got married. We have our house. We have our cars. We're not
another child.
Yeah, another child. We're not in poverty.
Not at all.
And I'm going for my college degree. Yeah, it took a little bit because I became, I guess, lazy. I was making $20 an hour. So why would I need a college degree?
Right. Yeah, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I was pretty comfortable, but if I'm going to teach my kids to follow their dreams, I need to follow mine. So that's why I went back to college. I've always wanted to be a nurse. I always wanted to help people. And another thing is, she had another student, because she knew I wasn't budging. She had another student come out of class who was also pregnant and was giving her baby up for adoption. And I did not do this on purpose, but ultimately she chose to keep her child, and she has like 4 other ones now, and she's doing fine. And she's an amazing mom. That was not my goal. I was not trying to convince her to not give her child up for adoption. Actually, I don't even remember the conversation we had, but I remember a few weeks later she told me, she's like, I'm going to keep her. I'm going to keep him. Or him. I think it was a boy. I'm going to keep him. And because she has daughters now too. So it was, I don't know. And there were other people in high school that they would tell me, because of you, like, I felt like I could do it. And it broke my heart because I felt like I was struggling. Like, if they only knew. And I wasn't a good mom at first. Like, I was like not a submissive. What's the other word where they walk all over you? Because I didn't want to whip him. I didn't want to hurt my son. I didn't want to give him the childhood I had. So I was a little bit, my child was wild. He was.
He's not me.
He was. Like, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. Like I told you, I said I have this like dark version of me that sits in the corner, and when anything major or bad happens, she says, let me handle it. Let me take over. But if I would let her take over, she'd probably burn down somebody's house, because somebody, like some major stuff.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that. Like I did not actually burn anybody's house down, but
That's for the clarification.
I have set people up though, especially Matt, where like I was not. My fruit and my spirit then was not kind. It was not loving. It was not forgiveness. It was terrible. Like I would let that dark version of me lead when I was a teenager and stuff. And when I followed Christ, it was like I had to almost put her in a cage because she kept wanting to come back out. And that one time when the freaking wrestler spit on my kid at the wrestling match, it was an older adult, and he's like, well, that's what they used to do. Yeah, in the 70s. This isn't the 70s anymore. This is how we spread HIV. Well, maybe not HIV, but other sexually transmitted diseases. And me and Matt's first thought is like, catch him outside. But instead, we called our pastor, explained to him what was going on, and he prayed with us. But we wanted to make sure that the guy was younger. He was like 23. And I know his frontal lobe isn't developed. And I even told him that because he's like, I'm a wrestler. And I was like, and I'm a mom. Like, I'm here to protect my son. The other kids were throwing water on you, not him. Maybe it was him. I forget. But still, that's no reason to hawk Tua on somebody. Like he did. He like spit on him.
Oh my.
And it was
I remember that.
Why? This close to letting that old version of me out. And I probably would have met him in a dark alley.
Well, and you know, when you read that, if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation. It makes me think of our children. They don't even know those old versions of us. If we were to have told them, if we were to tell them right now how we used to be, they wouldn't believe us.
No.
And even your youngest last night had said, was my mom crazy when she was younger? And I said, yes, we all were. And he said, my mom says she did some crazy stuff. But not my mom.
I love that.
I know.
He loves me so much.
He does love you so much. But when he said that last night, I was like, what a powerful reminder.